welcome to Paper Crafting with Angelina. Today I'd like to share with you why I really think this is one of the best paper trimmers on the market. Not only is it compact, but it also extends out to, when you extend this arm out, it goes all the way from 0 to 15¼ inches. So most papers are going to be only as large as 12 by 12, so that's going to adequately handle a paper of that size. It also, on the negative side, has markings to 1¼ so if I want to do some reverse measuring, I can do it there for smaller pieces. It has this nice locking feature right here, and that's really good for traveling or for storing. If you lock it, this stays in place, and you can easily unlock it and move it to load your paper. You can have, this is a cutting blade, and this can either go in at this end or this end. It also has measurements at this end, and that's one of the things I'll show you why I like that. All of these measurements are under the plastic, so they're not going to wear off and become invisible. It also has measurements for different sizes. For instance, if you put your paper here, you'd know you were getting a 2 by 3½, a 3 by 5, and then a 2 by 3½, a standard A2 card, which would be 4¼ by 5½, a 4 by 6, and a 5 by 7. So those are very useful when you're doing card making or just wanting to cut precise photo mats, things of that nature. The measurements here on this side go from 0 to 12½. So that's very helpful as well. Again, with the 12 by 12 pieces of paper, you're going to be able to have measurements here as well as here, and I use this a lot. The next thing, you can also load in, and I don't have one, but you can load in a scoring tool in place of the cutter, and that way you can score. I typically will just use my bone folder, as you've seen me do in other videos. So one of the things that I really like about this is what I consider the paper saving feature. So let's say here I want to cut a face for a card, and I'm going to cut it at exactly the 4¼ by 5½. So I'm going to take this, and you can see this one, I've already been cutting this, and that was to save the paper, because I didn't want to cut straight through and then just have a piece here and have a piece here in my scraps. I'd like to keep this as intact as possible, especially with my B&T papers, pattern papers, whatever you're calling them, because I want to save as much as I can of that and not have little scraps. I'd rather have larger scraps that I can use on larger projects. So what I mean by that is I'm going to take this paper, and we'll go ahead and use this corner just to make it easy. And I'm going to put it here at the 4¼ which is, let me come in a little tighter. I'm going to put it at the 4¼ and slide my blade over there. And then I want to cut to 5½. So rather than having to cut the whole thing and then cut this way again, I'm just going to bring this blade over to the 5½. Now I've got that side of the paper cut. Now what I'll do is I'll rotate my paper and come down and use the lower measurements, and that goes to 5½ over here. And I'm just going to line it up with the cut that I did earlier and bring it across. Now I have my 4½ panel, and I've got the larger piece of scrap paper. So I can, again, use this rather than cutting it here and then having 2 small pieces. I still have a large piece to work with. Okay, so I've got my face for my card, and I know that I'm going to be putting mounting other paper on here, either cardstock or patterned paper. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the middle out and just create a mat for that. And so again, that's where these numbers come in handy. I'm going to go ahead and just create a 3/4 inch mat or frame. So here is the 3/4 inch mark. I'm going to go in there, and then I'm going to take this and slide that to 3/4 inch as well. I'm going to look here, this is at 5½, so 3/4 inch would be 4¾ So I'm going to go to there. I'm going to rotate this 180 degrees and do the same cut. And go back down to 3/4 inch. Rotate this, line it up again at 3/4 inch. Bring it over here. rotate it, put it at 3/4 of an inch, and go to 3/4 of an inch. Now I have, so now I can just take this out and I have 2 pieces of paper. This I can still stamp on. I can use it for another project or I can use it for this project. I can mat another piece of paper here on top and you won't know that there's this hole here. And this helps me save paper whenever I'm creating projects. So again, that's one of the reasons I really love this cutter. It stores nicely, it's compact, it has the great measurements both here and on both sides, and then I can slide this back and forth. I hope you found that helpful, and if you have any other questions about this cutter, please feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section below. If you found this helpful, please like this and share this video with your friends. And in the meantime, happy paper crafting. Bye-bye.